Hey there, welcome to this new RuneScape video. Progress on the new animating engine is going well, and with the earlier animation I managed to integrate it well into Blender. Currently I am prioritizing learning and finishing videos over longer animations because I currently have a little bit of lack of time. But hey, every bit of progress and practice counts. In this video I'm gonna do some things I should have done way earlier once again. So, as I'd like to call it, I have to do more chores like always. I want to finally optimize my farm runs because I'm still running around so much to get everywhere. I also want to complete Mage Arena 2 so I can finally get some of those freeze attacks on those neck reel tasks. I also want to clear the Desert Heart Diary to train agility on the side. And in order to do that, I will have to get my first Calfight Queen KC. I even got a 35 kill Slayer task for it, so that's pretty handy. I also want to get the requirements to use the Augury player, and then of course buy it from the good old Grand Exchange. I also need to learn the money slug. I really want one of those fancy ancient scepters, and if possible also some Venator bow pieces for the money. It would be pretty cool. Either way, a very cool boss for me to grind out would be of course the Muspa and level up my combat stats. At the start of this video, my defense is still at level 71, and for someone with such limited skill in this game, it has been an actual hell to do things like the Corrupted Gun. My goal is to push my stats to a point where I consider it to be pretty viable to consistently do the Corrupted Gauntlet. So reaching 80 defense and upping my magic should be enough for this. To start off, I'm gonna be fixing my herb runs. Right now I'm running around all the way everywhere to get my herb patches, and that will change now. I will be completing diaries, hunting drops and doing hunter, or however I get that quest fulfilled, I also have no clue. Either way, let's get into it. First of all, I want to clear the Arjun medium diary. This is to finally get a teleport to the Arjun farm patch. If I were to complete the hard diary, I could up my teleports to 5 instead of the medium's 3. But let's be honest here. Am I really gonna train rune crafting any more than I already did?
Level up!
Oh, finally. Well, of course not. ID Cloak 2 is enough for me. For this, honestly, not much had to be done. But there were 2 quests that I did have to do. Those were Hand in the Sand and Enlightened Journey. How did the people in Jagex come up with these kind of quests? Oi, oi, mate, hear me out. I've got a cracking idea for a new quest, yeah? Oh, hello mate, how you doing? It's bloody scorching out here today, innit? Fancy grabbing a pint? Nah. Listen up first, yeah? What if we chuck a severed hand in some sand, eh? Oi, bruv, you're onto something there, keep it coming! Yeah. We called the hand in the sand. You find a buried hand in some sand, right? Blimey, mate, that's mental! You're on fire, eh? So, what do we do in this quest then? You gotta find out whose hand it is, innit? Oh my days, mate, that's genius! And then we have to plug lagging it around the owner, eh? For a good half an hour asking about it. Pure brilliance! Right then, mate. Let's grab that pin, the work here is done. Alright, mate, let's do this. Luckily, we got it done in a timely manner and finished those quests. To follow that up, I also put down one of my cannons next to some lizardmen and AFK'd my way to Xeric's talisman. Definitely something I could have done way earlier, but whatever, I was too lazy to even look into it. Now, the next teleport I really wanted to get was the Father Cabbage Patch. In order to get unlimited teleports there, I would need the Lumbridge and Drainer Hard Diary. For this, I first needed to get the Medium Diary. It wasn't really that eventful, I got it done quite easily. After completing that, I of course had to do the actual Hard Diary, and that's where the real problem started. First off, we started with the questing. And once again, it's a one quest. It was Tears of Guttix, and honestly, I actually ended up being a bit stressed about it. I'm not even joking. I completed Tears of Guttix quest, and then I needed to collect 100 tears. The thing is, I can only do it once every week, so if I fuck it up, I will have to wait. And oh boy. So what am I doing? It's just not giving me any. Oh god. Green is negative. Luckily, I did manage to clutch it out in the end. In order to complete the diary, I needed a spell named Bones to Peaches. This can exclusively be received from the Mage Training Arena. After repeating the same thing hundreds of times. 2 more and we did it. Okay, this is always... Oh god, I have this big problem when it comes to playing this game, and that is like I can just not play for a few days. I don't have to worry about it. But once I set a goal for myself and I want to achieve, for example in this case, the Draenor Diary, I will keep going until I get that shit done. And I needed the Bones to Peaches reward. And I just didn't even close my eyes in the time. Jesus. Luckily, to finish this painful experience, I just needed to harvest a plant in Draenor Manor to complete the Lumbridge and Draenor Heart Diary. With that, I now have access to unlimited Kabaji teleports, saving me about 1 to 2 minutes every run. For Mage Arena 2, I first needed to use each of the god spells 100 times in Mage Arena. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be way more of a pain, but it's basically just 15 minutes of fletching, but with a little bit more steps, and there can always be a PK. Luckily, I myself did not find any PKs, or no PKs found me, so that was very nice. During the second part, I had to fight the underlings of Zamorak, Saradomin and Guttix. I definitely made this way more difficult than it should have been. After all, the wilderness always freaks me out. And there's no difference when I have limited supplies, and I got absolutely destroyed by a Saradomin underling multiple times. Luckily, after beating that thing, things got way more comfortable. The underling just spawned everywhere without me even needing to look around, so I got to clear Mage Arena 2 quest. Also, at the end I ended up upgrading my Zamorak cape. I would have preferred the Guttix, but I wasn't thinking about it at all, and yeah, maybe I'll go back sometimes to get the Guttix cape. Upping my agility is something I've been wanting to get done for a while. It's a nice skill to train when doing rooftops on your phone while being on the train or something. Of course, it's also a tedious skill unless you like clicking the same 10 blocks over and over again for hundreds of hours. Which, I mean, I probably would if I didn't have an end goal in mind, but right now there is no way. So, what do we want to do to optimize that? Well, we will get the Desert Diary, so we can train agility on rooftops in the desert, basically. Before we even get to start that, we obviously need to do some more questing! Yay! Luckily, the only quest I was liking was Spirits of Elite. This I needed for the Desert Medium Diary, which I of course didn't do yet. Other than that, there wasn't really much that happened. The genie in the quest looked pretty cool though, and he had red eyes, which was also pretty fancy. Sadly, I couldn't steal his lamps yet, but maybe one. Now I quickly cleared the Desert Medium Diary and we are moving on to the Hard Diary. First of all, I'm finally doing the Calphite Queen Slayer test. That's been waiting on my bank for weeks now to get it done. Alright. Fuck Calphite Queen. This thing shits out damage. I'm not even Iron Man. So why would I even bother with this? So I basically cancelled the task and I just went to do the 5Ks instead. I had so much more fun with that. But no. This wouldn't have been a Droei video without dying in a stupid way, right? Well, I'll allow you to show you my greatest death of the video. Oh, of course I didn't bring... But maybe I can just clutch it out like this. Come on, redemption. Please be nice to me. Awesome.
Dying on my hardcore Iron Man.
They use range. Oh, fuck. And after that disaster, I finished the Desert Heart Diary. I was still debating on how to get the Augury Prayer unlocked. Of course, through the power of money. But how will I reach the required level? When I'm animating or programming, I really like to hop into Colonello's stream for some chill vibes on the side. He even watched my Desert Trader 2 animation there, which was pretty cool of course. That day, I saw him do prayer in Varlamore, and I quite liked the idea, so I gave it a go myself. I bought some wines, shards and lava dragon bones and got to work. Honestly, I don't think it was a good way to get over it, as it was slow and probably way more expensive than using a gilded altar even. Especially running up and down to bless the bones was a pain. But hey, I don't regret it. It's just an experiment anyway, but I don't see me using this method ever again unless it's buffed, cause I felt like it took longer for a less reward, which is never a good thing in RuneScape. And so after a quick trip to the GE, I gained access to the Augury Prayer. Next up, it was time to go back into Gower Dungeon and learn the Muspa fight more correctly. The Muspa has a very generous drop table and it's honestly very easy to farm once you get used to it. For me, the biggest goal was to get an ancient icon in order to upgrade my ancient staff to an ancient scepter. The ancient scepter has a few very nice features over the ancient staff. First of all, its stats are a bit better. It also boosts every ancient magic spell by 10% and can be upgraded with drops from the Forgotten Four. As my current aim is to use this bad boy to trade magic with Ice Barrage, I will attempt to get the Ice Quartz later from the Duke Succulus. This will give me a 10% accuracy boost on the unfrozen targets. But hey, it's finally time for a turn of bossing strats with Droei, and as I like to call it, making Muspa escargot with Droei. Chef Droei is in the kitchen. First off, let's start by actually praying correctly. Look at me go, it is a new Noobscape, new me. You see that? This is the face of a man who knows what he is doing. Alright, next up is gear. Obviously, I would go with a blowpipe. Alright, hear me out here. Muspa has big defense, right? So if I shoot 100 needles per second, at least one will hit, right? Hey, you thought I'd forgot? Of course I'm not praying correctly. What? We don't do that here. In my animation, I dodge things. So in RuneScape, things should also be dodgeable, am I right? And this is my personal favorite. There comes a point where you get so good at Muspa that you barely have to eat food, and things get way too easily. We can easily remove this and put some more pressure on you by having shitty internet to keep you on your toes. It's great. And after mastering these skills and challenges, I managed to prepare an amazing Muspa escargot for myself and my clan, and managed to claim my ancient icon. Now I got to combine the icon with my scepter, and it was time to burst some dust devils. As my goal is to combine the scepter with Ice Quartz, I also went to the catacombs of Corinth to collect ancient shards to transform my Dark Light into an Arc Light. This will be my best in slot weapon against the Duke, who has a 1 in 250.2 chance of dropping the Ice Shard. Luckily, the drop rate becomes better, up to 1 in 50 after a 300 kill count. But honestly, that's a grind for later. Combat stats are the only stats I really care about maxing at this point in time. After all, my goal is to clear out every boss and combat achievement in the game. Currently, my biggest hurdle throughout this journey has to be my defense. I feel like very often I can go bossing and I can do it well, but I just get destroyed by mountains of unavoidable damage. The first step I took towards fixing this was throwing all of my Desert Treasure 2 experience at my defense. So I guess it is time to train defense.
Level up!
Level up!
Level up!
Level up!
Level up!
Level up! There we go. After this, it was all just Nightmare Zone. While I was making this video, Deadman All-Stars was actually gone. So I had enough time to spend Nightmare Zone while being lazy and watching that. As in my main account, getting rare drops isn't something I'd wanna worry about right now. I think once I start an Iron Man, I will have enough time to bother with that. But the Gauntlet is one of those places I really want to grind out. This is obviously because of the crystal armor and especially the bow farm. I'm hoping to get all the pieces before I have to start grinding the very difficult bosses, like for example the Inferno. By then I don't really want to land anything from anyone that early in my journey. I want to keep that from once I actually get after the combat achievements. Also, I actually managed to get my first Grandmaster combat achievement done in the Corrupted Gauntlet. I'm in no means good at it, but I was very proud to make the best out of a very bad situation. Well, we'll just wing it and hope for the best. I'll just use this to reset the prayer and then use my bow. Let's see how far I can get. But yeah, if I make one big mistake, it's kind of fucked. I just don't have the damage to get through it. Like, just like my staff is like very low level right now. May the RNG gods be with me, but don't look like they are. Are they? Come on. One more hit, come on. Oh, we did it!
Combat task completed.
Oh shit! We actually did it. It was a Grandmaster task. Kill the corrupt without making more than one attuned weapon. Oh god. Also, as of making this video, I haven't had much luck yet. Depending on how you look at it, I got 6 seeds by now, which is pretty nice. I had 52 Gauntlet completions and 50 Corrupted Gauntlet completions. But as only one of them is actually an armor seed, I'm not that big of a fan. Anyway, I will keep grinding the Gauntlet on the side and hunt for that bow of Feridinen. How do you say that? And with that, we have finished another episode of RuneScape. Things are ramping up in different ways, and my first goal is coming closer and closer, which is of course beating every boss in the game. More milestones will be broken, and I will keep on grinding in order to keep pushing this content. Like always, feel free to comment and subscribe, and of course like if you liked the video. And have a nice day. Bye bye.